Hello everyone and welcome once again to the Global Business Update with TA. 7 business stories from around the world to keep you updated on the latest developments. Now, South Africa stands to gain from the world's race towards meeting climate change goals. That's right, more than $15 billion of their debt is set to be waived off if they commit and align themselves with the agreements they made at the climate change summits, the COP26 as they call it. And many other African countries, including Kenya, stands to benefit from such agreements. Remember, already some of the African countries, such as the Gabon reserves and so many different Central African countries too, are standing to benefit if they carry out their activities in line with what's agreed. Apart from Amazon, keep in mind that the basin of Congo is the second largest absorbing entity of carbon. The talk of the town, especially in Asia, is about the Evergrande. Well, Evergrande is one of the grand real estate developers. However, their debt problems and debt situation does not seem to be so grand. More than $300 billion of debt is owed by them, and at the same time, there are concerns that some of the upcoming payments of loan and interest coming to around $100 to $200 million might not be met by them. And amidst all this, there's a lot of property spaces that have not been fully developed yet. There's talk of a lot of layoffs, the customers are worried, and all these developments has in fact dragged down many property developer indices in China. Still, with regard to news from China, Colin Huang, the founder of Pinduoduo, the famous e-commerce platform of China, has lost more than $28 billion so far this year. And this is all a part of the crackdowns carried out by the Chinese government in their overall policy, which they call common prosperity. Their concern is that the tech companies are making too much money and becoming too powerful, and these crackdowns they hope are helping towards redistribute some of the wealth towards other parties and other entrepreneurs as well. Well, who is going to be the next victim of this? Only time would tell. But overall, there's a lot of tech companies and tech owners who are losing their valuations. Hilton is facing some tough protests from many Muslim civil rights groups, and the main reason being that the hotel chain's plans to build a hotel or a series of hotels in the China's Uyghur province, where basically the traditional Uyghur ethnic minority Muslims were living, and as China has been cracking down on them, putting them into various detention camps and what they call the correction camps, and carrying out some not so ethical activities, what we do see is Hilton trying to set up a hotel in the land there. And already some of these protests have been carried out in USA, including some protests being held outside the capital in Washington, D.C. Now you're probably wondering, what's the possibility of the next virus? Well, is there a 1 in 10 chance, 1 in 20 chance, 1 in 100? But some new data coming from China shows that in China alone, more than 400,000 viruses, yes, I'm not getting the number wrong there, 400,000 viruses are getting transmitted from animals to humans on a yearly basis. It's just that this coronavirus was one such thing that got really out of hand and spread in a global mass scale. But annually, for the past few years, there has been around 400,000 such viruses developing in China alone, but most of them go unnoticed because the scale doesn't really get big. So if you're wondering what's the next chance of a major virus, well, it could be any of those 400,000 viruses, and that would be a massive probability. The music group, Universal Music Group, is basically looking at a massive valuation of more than $33 billion. Vivendi, one of the main parent company shareholders, is looking at floating a good part of it in the Euronext exchange in Amsterdam, and this would value the total company at about $33 billion. Now, keep in mind that overall music sales bottomed out towards $14 billion around 2014, and now it has picked up back to the 20 billion, 21 billion range, but most of it, around 13 to 14 billion, is online streaming music. And as a result, this gives a massive valuation. Keep in mind that many years ago when Vivendi was approached by several bidding parties to buy it out at about $8 to $10 billion, they rejected it. And in fact, now when they are selling it, the same analyst companies such as JP Morgan, which kind of laughed at a few years back at the rejection of that offer that Vivendi got. Now they are saying, why are they going for $33 billion? This company could be valued at even $54 billion. Just goes on to show the power of digital streaming music media. And on a final note, news from Mondolez, the famous company that makes our favorite Oreo cookies. Their strike has ended after weeks of discussions, and looks like there's finally a new contract being presented to the employees with better pay for overtime, with more manageable shift times and more rewards as well. The strikes at their production factories has led to concerns that one of the world's most favorite biscuit brands, Oreos, would not make it to the shelves of the shops, but those fears have now been eased out. That's it for this week, and no matter what business you may be in, stay safe and have a profitable week ahead.